When Karl Marx died in the winter of 1883, he left Friedrich Engels, his friend and writing partner for nearly half a century, with an injunction: publish what must be published. Engels took this to mean that he had a duty to shepherd into print a series of projects bearing the name Capital. A committed non-procrastinator, he settled on a plan of action right away. He would finish the revisions to the third edition of Capital Volume 1, edit Volume 2, which existed only as several incomplete manuscripts, oversee the English translation of Volume 1, and so on. It was the second of these tasks that made Engels worry about how his formidable Sitzfleisch would hold up. He initially lacked a clear sense of the extent to which Volume 2 had remained incomplete, and what he did know unsettled him. There would be a large amount of Marx's script to decipher, a murderously difficult job, as he put it in his correspondence. Over the next 2 years, as Engels transcribed and amended the second volume of Capital, he did in fact point out how much time and effort he had to invest there. But such remarks are almost always followed by expressions of enthusiasm. In one letter, Engels mentions that editing Volume 2 was no walk in the park, only to say that he loved the work, since it was bringing him together with his old comrade. One of the projects on his list did, however, push his patience to its limit and cause him to engage in some epistolary hand-wringing. Writing to Marx's daughter Laura in April 1886, Engels, as though about to burst, conveys his distress immediately. He begins his letter as follows: "The English translation of Capital is awful work." What made it so bad? The multi-stage production process that Engels and the translators had found their way to, and his responsibilities in it, were wearing on him. Using a separate sentence to describe each stage, he tells Laura Lafargue that Samuel Moore and Edward Aveling translate Marx's text into English. Then he revises their work, gives additional suggestions as well, and sends everything back. After that, they all discuss unresolved issues, whereupon he has to go through the text again, checking to see that it is ready for the press stylistically and technically. Another problem is that Aveling hasn't managed to turn in all the pages he was assigned. Engels clearly thought that his letter sketched out grim circumstances, and Laura may have agreed. On the other hand, she knew all about the challenges he faced, which also included the size and difficulty of the book being rendered into English and Moore's busy career as a lawyer. Thus, she may have wondered what exactly Engels had expected. Since she also knew about his fraught relationship with attempts to translate Marx, she may have asked herself whether that dynamic, too, played a role in making him feel the way he did as he put together the first English edition of Capital.